Good morning. It is Friday, May 21st, 2021. I'm Pastor Thor Ramsey with Center Church. This is Gospel for Five, where we take 5 minutes out of our day and focus on the gospel because Jesus is the gospel. Here we are in Proverbs, working our way through it. Keep your heart with all vigilance. Keep your heart with all vigilance is what I was trying to say. Keep your heart with all vigilance, for from it flow the springs of life. Again, we've been contrasting this week these two lifestyles. A lifestyle of darkness and the lifestyle of the light. A lifestyle of living on the path of light, the dawn of light. People of the night and people of the day, so to speak. And these two different lifestyles come from two different ways of seeing the world, two different ways of thinking because of how we see the world. Different worldviews lead to different lifestyles. So, keep your heart with all vigilance, for from it flow the springs of life. How you live flows from your heart. And what you think, how you see life, affects how you feel about life, the core of your being, and from there flows either a life that's going to be steeped in deep darkness, or a life that's going to be living the dawn of light. Put away from you crooked speech, and put devious talk far from you. And this is what we find in, again, these false worldviews. So many false worldviews are really devious. It's crooked speech. It's off kilter. So there's a plumb line of reality that God has revealed to us. And false worldviews are crooked. And they talk crooked. They're crooked speech. They're not spouting the truth of reality. I keep mentioning critical theory, critical race theory, these two particular views that are not compatible with Christianity. They're not a lens to see. I've heard feminism described as a lens through which you see the world. Now, it can be described as that. That's a lens through which you see the world. That's a worldview. It's a philosophy, in other words. It's a worldview. But again, I find it it's interesting to me how it kind of springs up out of life. It doesn't spring up out of, there is no foundational deep thinking to the lens of feminism. Now, I'm not saying they're not tenets of feminism that Christianity agrees with, but it's an antithetical worldview to a Christian worldview because it's a comprehensive way of seeing things. The problem is what it flows from. It doesn't flow from a transcendent source. There's not a deep philosophical source. Does feminism have philosophical elements? Certainly, but there's not a deep philosophical source saying, here's why this is true, because it all stems from and flows from this particular. It doesn't have that. It's really reactionary. It's a reactionary lens through which to see the world. And again, I just talk about these things. Some people say, well, critical theory can be a helpful lens through which we can interpret our faith. No, it can't. It's antithetical to Christianity. It's completely opposite. It's like saying communism is a helpful lens through which we can examine our faith. No, it's not. Communism is in direct opposition to the revealed Word of God. It's a different worldview. It's an opposition to the truth, as so many of these worldviews are. It's not to say, do they have anything valid to say to the world? Possibly they do. The point I have to Christians is, this is the worldview that will speak to everything in your life. For in it God has given everything we need for life, he says. For life and for walking in the dawn of light. For life and godliness. So put away from you crooked speech and put devious talk far from you. Let your eyes look directly forward and your gaze be straight before you. Ponder the path of your feet. So, and it's talking about look directly forward and your gaze be straight before you. It's like Don't deviate from the plumb line of truth that God has given, revealed to humanity. Ponder the path of your feet. Then let all your ways be sure. This is a simple truth for Christians. If you want your ways to be sure, base your ways upon the revelation that God has given to humanity. And what does God